found a manufacturer and started selling them, and they're so good. Hi guys. So we're back with my brand stories series. And if you're not familiar with this series, I have a lot of really cool friends and people in my world. And so I wanted to just start to just do a series where I just talk to them and we just do something fun together while we talk about how their brand came to be, how they got here, all of that. So today I have Rhonda Broswick. So hi Rhonda, how are you?
Good, good.
Do you want to tell everybody what you do?
Sure. So I do mostly affiliate marketing. I am in network marketing also, and I do some success coaching and a little bit of branding coaching.
Awesome. So tell me about well, first off, we're going to be picking paint colors. So do you want to get me up to speed with?
Yes, so as you can see behind me, this was my son's room. So yes, I am older. My kids are out of the house now. So originally it was going to be my other son's room, but now we've decided to make that a guest room. And this lovely room is going to become my office. So no more sports stuff, no more blue and white. There's stuff piled in this room because you know how that goes as you start rearranging. Stuff becomes a mess for a while, right? Until you get it cluttered. So there's boxes and all kinds of stuff in here. But I want to make this into my office and get rid of this and clean it up. And that's why I want to pick new colors.
Are you gonna like paint it your brand colors or anything?
I don't think so because it's too, I think my brand colors, I don't think I'd like that in a room. I mean, just because like, okay, so my brand colors, I love my brand colors because they really go along with my values.
Yeah, and your energy.
But I think more for accents.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, because like the salmon-y color, like I definitely don't want to room that color. Like, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
it might be a lot. It might be. But like a pop of like a decoration would be so cool.
Yes, like something like that is what I'm thinking. Like, you know, like, so I have like my son's old desk that this laptop is actually propped up on now, but I'm thinking of like bleaching out the wood. I don't know if you've seen that lately.
Yeah.
So where they bleach it out, so it's not really quite white, but it's that like whitish wood. Yeah. So I'm thinking of doing that to the desk and maybe his dresser that he left, which is over here in the corner, and then you know, like probably doing some shelves or something. And then I was thinking like on the shelves is where I could put, you know, some stuff that has to do with my brand more.
I love that. Love that. So what colors are you thinking?
So I'll show you kind of something that I thought of. I always like to get other people's opinions. So I'm not the best interior decorator. So I call my brother a lot. He's gay, so he's got that gene, like he knows how to do everything, right? He comes over and helps me do all my interior decorating. So that's the bonus like there. But so the colors I'm looking at are like let me see if you can see. I might have to close this blind. Yeah.
The green or the gray. Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of like a taupe.
Okay, I like it. A temperate taupe. Ooh,
yeah,
I
so
like that.
That because that's kind of like I don't know, taupe is like that brownish pinkish color, right?
Yeah.
It has that little pink undertone to it. So I thought that would be nice, but not.
And it would make the pink pops like all really tied together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then I was almost wondering if I should do an accent wall, like he's got that accent wall of the navy blue over there. But I don't know. So the accent, I was thinking of going something darker, like this dark.
Yeah. So this actually like looks like the colors that I have down in my downstairs, like
really
very, very similar. And we have, I mean, like that was one of the reasons I like fell in love with the house was those colors. Just, I don't know, it gives you like this very specific, I I don't know, just like you walk in and it's soothing and warm, but relaxing. And
Yes,
yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
want. Like I want my office, I don't want it to be busy. I want it to be relaxing and soothing. And that kind of goes along with my brand also, right? So
hmm,
um like I want to come in here and not have it like jumping out at you. I want to have it like a relaxing place to come in and work and have as my background when I do my videos and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to show you this picture because hopefully you can see it. But I like how they did this. So in this
Oh,
picture, like that would be the taupe, and this is that dove gray.
ooh, yeah,
So I
love
kind of
it.
think that would look good with an accent wall. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, that's totally, yeah. I'll have to take a picture and send it to you, Rhonda, because like that's totally how ours is. It's like that same kind of gray, and then the darker one. It's so, I don't know. I love it. So,
Yeah,
well, I mean,
this
I've had it for a few years, so I'm like ready for a switch up, but I've loved it for a long time. So,
yeah, I love that. I was looking at some greens too, but I've started painting other parts of the house now, like those sage and calming greens. So I'm like, well, I think I want this to be different.
yeah. So, well, tell me about like why do you want, like, what do you want this space to be?
So I want this space to be where I can come in and feel relaxed and
Mhm.
creative and not cluttered, like, because clutter gets on my nerves, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
it's very cluttered right now.
Yeah,
But I know this is temporary, so that's fine. But
yeah.
I want it to be a place where I can come in and feel relaxed. And when I'm making my videos, like I'm not feeling like I'm having to point the camera in a certain
In a
direction.
specific angle.
Yeah, yeah,
Can't see this. You don't want, you don't
exactly.
want, you don't
Yeah,
want this kind of a situation where you like blur it out.
right, exactly. I just want it to be what it is and stuff like that. And when I come in here, like I feel relaxed and
Yeah.
I feel like creative and stuff
It,
like that. So
it's
that's,
conducive to creativity. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Because
Love
I
that.
like doing that kind of stuff. Like I know a lot of people like hate doing like their own graphics or their own stuff like that. But like I actually went to college way back when for graphic design. So bringing that into my life, like kind of brought that creativity back, and
Yeah.
it's fun for me. Like I love doing that stuff.
I had no idea. I had no idea.
All the surprises.
Right? Oh my gosh. So well, tell us the story about like, why did you start working for yourself? Let's start there.
So I started working for myself. I kind of got into it by accident when I first got into my first MLM, and I
Mhm.
was still flying. So I've been a flight attendant. I was a flight attendant for over 30 years. And unfortunately, I hurt my back. So when I got into my first MLM, like I kind of knew I probably wouldn't be able to do that forever because my back injury was like getting, it was progressing.
Mhm.
So I got into it. I didn't even know what an MLM was, like, never heard that term before in my life. And actually had somebody call
Mhm.
me out on that when I said it in a group. And I was like, okay, well, call me whatever you want. I'm not lying. Like, it is what it is. Not everybody is in the online world and knows all this terminology, right?
Right, right.
So, anyways, got into that. And then it was just really for fun at first, but then as my back started progressing, I started getting into the online world more and seeing other things that were available to do or other ways, to like make an income if I wasn't going to be able to fly anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of spurred me into the online world. So,
Mhm.
because I was also like thinking, like, all right, well, I might not be able to go into like an office or a typical job or stuff, and stuff like that. So I was looking for alternatives for
Yeah.
my family.
So tell me about like what changed it all for you as far as you came in, you were doing MLM, and then you've evolved somewhere completely different. So why did you decide to end up here? Why did you decide to end up here?
Um, so like, as you get into the online world, you start to see more, all kinds of things, and you know, you just learn more as you get into the online world more and into different business groups, excuse me, and stuff like that. And I got into things, so a lot of things in the online world I don't like, to be truthful, okay, that's part of one of my brand values is honesty, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things I don't like. Like there's a lot of, I don't know how to put it, like scamming. People will tell you things just to get you to buy things. There's, they'll tell you you need this, or people will even not tell you things. They'll say like, oh no, you just have to do this and you're going to make thousands of dollars. But in reality, they have all these automated tools. They have all this, all these people working for them in the background. They're paying for ads. They're doing giveaways, but they're not telling, most people that.
Right.
So the untruthfulness is, I kind of think, what drove me to other things. Like that's why I started my Facebook group, and to let people know you don't have to spend like $1 million to be successful. You can find these tools, like, and letting people know what tools are out there that are either free or low cost and can get you the same results. And that's kind of how I got turned into the direction that I'm in.
I love it. I love it. And so it seems to me from the outside that you feel like you've like really settled into like a nice little bubble that you're in right now. Like it's a nice spot that you've landed in.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I'm, you're always, I think, ever
Always evolving.
Right, and changing different things. And I'm always looking at different things also because, I personally think you can definitely be in multiple things online, I think you believe that also. So it just depends, I'll look at things that it depends if they, go along with my values and what I stand for and stuff like that, if I'm going to recommend them or not,
So tell me about what if you could go back in time and give yourself advice from the get-go, what would you be telling yourself?
I would be telling myself to probably to listen to my gut more.
Okay.
Like if I thought something really wasn't true, it probably wasn't. Or if I thought, you know what I mean? And to learn more myself before maybe jumping into things or doing things that I didn't have to do.
Okay. Yeah. So do you feel like you've like taken too much on, or like taken on other people's opinions and that type of thing throughout the process?
Yeah, probably at certain times. Like I've definitely like gotten into programs and I was like, I don't know why what am I doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff like that. And, that was just like either way too far advanced for where I was, or it really wasn't going to help me at all in the long run.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I feel like a lot of people, I feel once you start getting into it and you really want to make it a go of it, I think it's easy to get sucked into those things a lot of times.
Yeah. So what, how have you ended up deciding on like products that you really love and that you want to promote?
So, first of all, I have to use them, and they have to be simple to use because, I'm 56 years old. I was a flight attendant, so we definitely was not into technology at all. And it's got to be like something that, anybody will be able to use without like being ready to throw their computer out the window, which over the years, I've had that feeling a few times. It can be very frustrating, like trying to learn some of these programs and stuff like that. So I'd like to look for things that are, simple enough for everybody to be able to use. They don't cost an arm and a leg, they're, even if things are more expensive, they got to be worth the value that they're giving you. And if I feel it's a need and if I have gotten value out of it, that's what I like to share my experiences.
Yeah. So one of the most important things with like, having a brand is your community. So tell me about how have you gone about building up a community going from being somebody who was a flight attendant and then coming into this world? How do you build your online community personally?
I'm just myself online.
Mhm.
So like you'll never see me in a gown. Like you are dressed up. That is you, right? You always have your
Some days.
lipstick, your sequins and stuff like that. Like that will
Yeah.
never be me. Like you
Uh-huh.
know what I mean? And that's your brand and that's your personality. And
Yeah.
my personality is usually jeans and sneakers, a t-shirt or a sweatshirt. And I
Yep.
just show up how I am.
Mhm.
And I speak my truth, like, you know what I mean? So I attract the people I attract. And like I said, I'm older, I'm 56.
Yeah.
So, I generally will be talking to people like in that generation
Yep.
and, relating, and people can relate because they probably thinking the same things like that I thought. They might be overwhelmed or,
Yeah.
things like that, thinking, oh my God, I don't have any clue how to do that. So
Mhm.
just by speaking my truth and just being myself, I've kind of attracted, you know, people into my community like that.
I'm curious what if you were to sum up, in 3 to 5 bullet points, what is your truth? What would that be?
So like my core values in my brand, which I actually got through, going the program with you, like I never really thought of that before, but are, simple, like simplicity is definitely one of my things. Like even, my graphics that I do, like they're always simpler. Like you'll never see anything like really ornate or over the top.
Yeah.
So simplicity, happiness, like people should be happy in what they're doing. So, find whatever niche or whatever program or whatever product, whatever it is, it has to be something that you really like to do and it makes you happy to do it.
Yeah.
Because, then you're going to want to put the time in to make it work,
It's
right?
yeah, this whole thing, like, yeah, running a brand, it's so time and energy and like spiritually, like every way it's consuming. And so like if you
Yes,
don't choose something that actually lights you up, it's depressing. Like
yes.
it gets
Yeah.
real dark real fast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that, and then honesty. That's, my other one of my other core values is just being honest. Like if somebody asks me to look at something, I'll usually look at it, or if I've already seen it, I'll tell them I've already seen it. Like, it's not
Mhm.
interesting to me, or, I'll take a look at something, or I will tell people, like if they ask, I don't just tell them like, yeah, I don't just say that stinks. But if people will ask me, I will tell them why I don't like a product or a program or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
all due to my personal experience. And everybody, has their own personal experiences. So, I make sure I put that out there too. Like just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't like it, but this is my experience, or this is why I like this. And, if that correlates to something you think you might like, then it might be a fit, or if not. So,
Yeah. So what's the thing that you're most proud of yourself for accomplishing so far in your brand?
so right now I'd say it is probably starting my own group. And I just went over 300 members. I just started it last fall. So, and that was just building, just building it organically and stuff like that. And so right now I'm really proud of that group. I put a lot of thoughtfulness into the content I put in there. I'd like to put, just like simple little training videos, like on, for example, like, how to do a Facebook story. Like, because a lot of people don't know how to do those things, or,
Right.
how to get your watermarks off your TikToks so you can use them on other platforms. Stuff like that, like simple little things that are helpful to people. And then, hopefully, by helping people with just with things that I find or along the way. And then, maybe they'll want to join me in one of my programs, or, be coached by me or stuff like that.
I love it. I love it. So how has it empowered you or changed your life as far as like how you believe in yourself to have a brand and work on it that way?
Hmm, that's an interesting question.
I know, right?
Um,
You know, I'm full of those.
I know. Um,
I didn't give anybody any warning about what questions I'd be asking. I don't have a list or something. It's just like, ooh, I'm curious about this right now.
right,
So
right. It just comes up. Um, I guess I never really thought about having a personal brand before. When I first started, like I was kind of always branding whatever company I was in instead of
yeah.
branding myself. And, and then those things fall under the umbrella of my personal brand, which is kind of what we went over.
Yeah.
And when I started thinking about that with what I wanted to do online, that it just made sense. So,
Mhm.
that really empowered me to make myself the personal brand, which I had never thought of doing before.
And what did that do for you, like on a personal level to, confident, like it takes a certain amount of confidence to do that.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. It definitely got me to step out of my shell more online. I think before, like I was probably hiding behind, um, like I said, different brands that I was instead of putting myself out there, where
yeah,
now I put myself out there first.
I love that. I
So.
love that. Awesome. So tell us just real quick if somebody has, what are some of the types of problems that people have that you can solve for them?
So some of the problems that I've seen with the people that I've worked with is they get into programs or yeah, mostly programs, I would say, and they don't do it. And I think they get overwhelmed instead of just going step by step. So I like to break things down. I'll actually like help people, if they get to a certain point, like say one program that I'm in, it actually teaches things literally step by step. But
Oh,
some
cool.
people just don't even want to do that because they don't want to spend the time,
It's
right?
work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's work. And being online is work. And I'm always upfront about that. But, I do offer services like to do things for people if there's certain things they just don't want to do, So I offer that also, which I just started offering that like last fall with something new because I'm like, well, okay, I can do it, but I'm not going to just do it for nothing. Like, which
Right.
I think in the past I probably would have just done it for nothing. Like that
Mhm.
was one of the things that definitely evolved was that your time is money. Like you want to help people, but then
Yeah.
you have to really put yourself as a priority also, right? And
Yeah.
how far you help people and what you do.
Yeah. And you get to have those boundaries and you get to like say, hey, X, Y, and Z, that these are my parameters for how I will or will not, do that. And it's a big, big, big deal. So
Yeah, and just being upfront with that, and honest. Was that the
mhm.
question? Did I even answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember exactly how I asked it, so I'm satisfied with what you said. So
Okay.
I love it. Oh, awesome. Okay, so Rhonda, if people want to follow you, if they want to learn about how to work with you, where can they do that?
So, like I said, I do have my coaching group. It's Branding and Success Coaches,
Mhm,
Branding and Success Coaching group that I started.
mhm.
And I was just looking because I keep throwing videos in there, but I have to organize them. But I have guides. Like I literally have over 30 videos in there, like just on simple things. So if
Right.
it's a free group, I do put paid offers in there also, obviously. But so that would be a place to go. You could kind of see, what I'm about, what I teach. If you'd want to work with me further, I'm in a couple affiliate programs right now that I really love,
Yeah.
that are all really about saving time and money, which is huge thing for me. Like I said, that was one of the things that I really got into this for.
Mhm.
So, I have those two groups and that group and those two programs, which I do talk about in my group. you can follow me on my personal Facebook page. I have a YouTube channel. I'm on almost every social media platform, but mostly the big ones that I concentrate on would be Facebook, Instagram, and probably YouTube now, since I've been building up that channel and putting my videos there.
Fun. I love it. Awesome. All right, guys, so I'll make sure that Rhonda's tagged in this so that you guys can go connect with her. But thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate
Thanks. It's always
your
nice
time
chatting
and
with you and catching up.
always good to catch up with you. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Beth.
Bye.